Hello and welcome to the Sands of Eternity, where legends are reborn. In today's video we are going to be looking at the cult once again, but we are today focusing on one of their main abilities, the idea of siphoning wounds from our creatures and inanimate objects such as our swarms, our Ushabti, and even our greatest beasts to power up our wizards. So that is what we're going to look into today. We are going to look into the maths behind it all. When should we take more than one level? When should we take 3? If with us is level 4, what's our percentage that they'll need that double 6 to stop our key spell? Let's find out. So, let's get into our special rule. So before making a caster roll, any Lich Priest within a Mortuary Cult army may draw upon the magical animus of any nearby undead constructs. To do so, nominate a friendly unit that is Nicaran Undead, special rule, that is within our Lich Priest command range and whose troop type is Swarms, Monstrous Infantry, Cavalry, Creature, or Behemoth. The nominated unit loses 1 to 3 wounds chosen by the controlling player. Then this Lich Priest may modify their casting roll by adding the number of wounds lost by that nominal unit to the results. And then there's a final bit at the bottom, so note that this modifier of the roll does not negate our roll of a double 1. So let's break this down. So we have to do this before we cast. So we can't find out what we've rolled and then take our wounds. We've got to do it before. So sometimes when you take your wounds, it'll be wasted because you rolled a double 6, you rolled an 11, and it's already too high. Okay, we've got to go down to its creatures within our command range, not of their command range. So not using our leadership 8 of our Ushabti or lower of our swarms, higher of our swarms, which from our priests. So most of the time it's going to be 8 or 7. 8's for our high priest, 7 for our normal priests. Obviously 12 for command of your general and your BSB. Unless your general is on a large target, then it's an 18-inch range for them. Okay, we can take it from swarms, infantry, cavalry, creatures, and behemoth. So that has taken us from Ushabti, Tomb Scorpions, Necrosphinx, even though I wouldn't. The place you are going to take them, unless you are in dire need, is your swarms. So these are 5 wounds apiece in our core. So I take a unit of 4, so I've got 20 wounds that I know that I'm going to take for taking for level up of our wizard. Okay, so sometimes we won't need to, but sometimes we will. On that go turn, when their level 4 is in, you probably just want to go for it. Just take 3 wounds every spell you've got. Obviously you'll get to a point where you might accidentally kill off your swarms, and this isn't a bad thing, which we will look at another time. So that is our rule. Obviously a really big thing here is we cannot stop a double 1. So when we look into the data and the maths behind it all, you'll see why this kind of changes things up. Okay, also what's really key about this, that this obviously happens when we cast a spell. So at the start of your turn, you'll go through your sub phases. The strategy phase is before the conjuration phase. So you'll have to regain your wounds first before you can start taking wounds away. So on that first turn, there's no way you can res up. From turn 2 onwards, you res up before you take any wounds away. Okay, now let's get to the maths. So let's look at the maths. Okay, we're going to start off with a basic level 4 to what they need to cast. So if we have a look here, if I'm a level 1, to cast a 7, I need a 6. 7, 8, 9, 10 as the spells go up. Okay, likewise we see here for a level 4, we need a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So even those tough spells where we really want to get off, so Magic Mirage, Spiritual Vortex, that's off an 11, Columns on a 10. If we only have our level 4, we need a 6. Okay, and now if we look down here at our odds. Okay, so if I'm a level 4 and I require in this 10, I've got a 70% chance of getting off. Okay, cool, I'm happy with that. You know, for me to get that 11, I need 58%. Okay, that's quite high. Okay, I think that's quite low for us. Like saying, I'm looking for these types of spells where I'm at 90%. I know I'm going to get these spells off. The highest we can get is 97% chance of getting it off. Okay, because the only thing that will stop us is that double 1. So for a normal level 4, these are what you're going to be dealing with in your level 1s and your level 2s. But obviously we're the cult. We're a little bit special. We can take certain wounds, you know. So now let's look at how that changes when I can get to a +5. a +6, and a +7, and a +8. So, I've done the maths up here. I've got up to a +8. So the reason being is I'm a level 4. I get +1 for the casket. I know some places are playing that you can get an extra +1 from 2 caskets, but where I've been playing, it's only ever been that +1. And then 3 more wounds, so we get up to 8 plus on our wizard. So these are when we really need it. So if we have a look here, obviously I've just expended out. So for a 5, 6, 7, and 8 for it to get a level 7, we still need that 3 because the double 1 still gets us a fail. So the only roll we don't want is that 2. So they're always at 97%. So if we now look at these higher level spells, so this level 11 spell, so Miasmic Mirage, okay, this is the spell I'm really going to be using because I use it every game, probably 3 times. Column of Crystals, probably 4 times I use it from my level 2. Okay, I'm a level 2, so base rate, my percentage of getting my Column of Crystal off, so I've got a 40% chance getting off. Okay, Miasmic, with just my level 2, is 27, 28%. And this is not even including the opponents having a chance to dispel. We'll have a look at that in a moment. So, even just to get the spell off, it's really hard. Okay, bring in the fact that they could have magic res, it could make it even harder. So I know dwarves, and then magic res 1, we're going to be down to a 16% chance getting Miasmic Mirage off. Okay, it really hurts us. But now let's look at what happens when we get all of our bonuses. So I'll start with my level 2, who takes his column and Miasmic Mirage. I can go up to a level 6 on the casting. So for column, if I really want to get off this turn, I take 3 wounds from my swarms. I can get a 92% chance of getting that spell off. I think we can all take a 92% chance of getting some key off. Miasmic Mirage, okay, is 83% chance of getting off. We can see that that has nearly gone up by 60% likelihood of getting it off. Okay, so this is just because what I need as a minimum. So a minimum I need to get it off is a 5. I could roll an 8. I can go really high, so that even a dispel attempt, they're going to need high. Okay, Column is a great spell because obviously it's a vortex. It stays, remains in play. So for them to dispel it, they'll have to get in, they'll have to get their 10. So for them, they'll have to get an 11 to stop our spell. So if they're a level 4, they've got 58% chance of getting off. Okay, if they're not even in range of us, they're going to need just 11 on their dice. Okay, and that is about, if I can remember clearly, it's about 8% that they get it off if they aren't within dispel range to that 8. Okay, now let's look on the other side. Okay, so if I wanted to really do that +8, so for me, my main spell is that Spiritual Vortex. Okay, it's 11 to cast, so I need a 12. Okay, it's 11 to cast. Okay, if I take that +8, there is only one roll that makes me fail. It is that double 1. Otherwise, it's gone off. And what's so great about Spiritual Vortex is I can move, chuck out, run away, so they're outside their dispel. So it makes all these really hard spells everyone talks about. Well, Miasmic Mirage, even with a level 4, it's quite tricky to get off. All Spirit Leech with these level 4s still need that 7 up, you know, it's still quite high to get. But as soon as we bring in the cult and we start abusing our swarms when we need to, we can get it off. So this is also thinking about at what point do I need to stop taking wounds from my swarms. So I am very much a man who I'll do it to that thing. If they're in range, that's a different story. But if they've only got their fated or they've already used it, I'm going to take it. The only roll that'll get me is that double 1. So with my Spiritual Vortexes, I always take 3. Okay, Miasmic Mirage, because on my level 2, I'll always take 3. Okay, but if I'm trying to get Unquiet Spirits, okay, I'm already at a +5 because of my casket. Don't need to take any more wounds. I'm not even going to attempt to unless their wizard is nearby. If I don't need to take it, I'm not going to take any wounds. So these are our odds, okay? So if I need to get a 9 off, okay, and I've got my level 4 in range of the casket, I only need to take a wound off. And it's this keenness of just knowing how many wounds you need to take off is important. So this is where this kind of half of the table shines. So if we see 97.2222, that's the maximum wounds I'm going to take. Okay, I'm not going to take any more. So on a spell of a 10, I'm going to take 2 wounds, okay? Because once again, I'm at a +7. The minimum roll I can get is at 3. So I'm going to go for that and only take 2 wounds off. If you're taking any wounds off, you are wasting your swarms. Okay, this is all great in a bubble. Okay, they've already got their fated. They're going to need a double 12, a double 6 to stop us. Let's see when they've got wizards in range, how it affects us, and at what point should we maybe try and take on this 9 spell. Do I go to my +8 rather than my +6? But let's see. So, if we have a look here versus an enemy wizard, these are the numbers that they've got to beat your roll by. So 1 and 1, they've got to beat me by 1. 2 and 2, they've got to beat you 1. 3 and 3, they've got to beat you 1. If I've just got my level 4 versus their level 4, they've got to just beat my dice roll by 1. So if I roll a 7, they have to roll a 8. So once again, this is where the fun begins. Okay, this is when we start taking our wounds and where we're at. So our level 4s always already going to have this +5. Okay, because we're already by the castle. So they've got to beat us by 2. Okay, so if I roll a 7, they've got to roll a 9. Their chances of doing that is a lot lower. Okay, now we get up to 6. So this is my level 2. All right, every time I'm taking 3 to get those spells off, they've got a level 4 in range. They've got to beat me by 3. So if I get a 7 on the dice, okay, I'm at a 13. They've got to get a 10 to stop me. Okay, because they've got to get a 14. If they get the same, it goes off. Okay. Once again, if I go to my +8, so when I am my level 4 trying to get off that key spell, or any spell even, Unquiet Spirits, they've got to get 5 more than me. If I roll a 5, they've got to get a 10. If I roll just a 3, they've got to get an 8. The odds difference is so in your favour. So much so that sometimes they won't even attempt to bother because they don't want to miscast. They don't want to get, oh, I stopped that spell, but I can't stop anymore, and you get that key spell off. So it's using that to your advantage. Okay, so that's brilliant. We know we can defend ourselves. As I say, if you've got that level 4 in range, just take the wounds. Okay, take the wounds. Unless you're a bit slow and you're a bit worried on your wounds, maybe only take 1, so they've got to beat you by 3. Okay, if they've only got a level 1, I probably wouldn't even bother about it. Okay, I would just take maybe 1. Okay, so we're at that +5 innately. Okay, as I said, my level 2 illusion with Law Familiar BSB, he's always taken for it. I've always counted that 6 wounds are going to go into my Lord and my level 2 BSB. So if we now go into our requiring a double 6, so if we have a look here, so this is to making the opponent require a double 6. I don't know what percentage. Okay, so if I'm level 1 versus their level 1, there's going to be an 8% chance that they're going to require a double 6. Because the only way to stop it is if I get 11 and then I get a 12. I get unresistible force. The only way they can stop it is obviously with that double 6. Okay, well, even actually, if I've got that double 6, they can't stop it. So actually, it goes off even better. So these odds are actually probably a bit different. So if I go down to my level 8, okay, the odds that they need to get to beat me, so to force them to get a double 6, is 58% versus their level 4. So the maximum their level 4 can get before getting a double 6 is a 15. Okay, so they can get 11 on the dice and I'll give it 15. If I get a 7 on my dice, okay, if I get 7 on my dice, I'm at 15, so they have to get that double 6. So they've got a 1 in 36 chance stopping us there. So the odds of them needing that is at 58%. Because anything higher than that 7, I've got my spell off unless they can roll a double 6. So we can really use these numbers to protect ourselves. Okay, versus a level 3, there's a 72% chance before a level 8. So I'm going to look at my level 6, because this is, to me, is my key wizard here. So if I look at my level 6 here, there is a roughly 28% chance that their level 4 requires that double 6. Okay, versus a level 1, they're going to need that 72% chance that they're going to require that double 6. So we can really use this information to kind of when to take wounds, how safe it is for us to get our spells off. Okay, because in the cult, we're going to get our spells off if we use our wounds correctly. And this math shows when we should do. So if we come back to here, as I said, we only need to get a 10 off with on my level 8. My level 4, I'm only going to take 2 wounds. I'd say if I'm versus that other level 4, I'm probably most likely always going to take that +8. Okay, because it means they need that one extra spell from us. If we look at the difference required of going up and down, so if I only use 7, there's an extra 17% chance, 16-17% chance that they have to get a double 6. So we're being defensive and we're being clever with our wounds. So that's it. The cult is very powerful at getting our spells off. We may not be able to stop them as well as we get our spells off, but when we need to, we're going to get our spells off. So this is where I play with 3 level 4s and a level 2. I get all my spells. I've got 14 spells going out there because most of the time, all I need is a 3. My chance of getting a double 1 is only 1 over 36. What's crucial is when to take wounds, how many to take, and if there's a level 4, just take them all. Don't forget, it's not just the swarms we can take from, it is also our Ushabti, our Tomb Scorpions, and anything else. So I've used it versus taking off Ushabti in case I needed it, because I lost my swarms or my wizard was out of place, and it meant I still got my spiritual vortex off, my spirit leech, my young quiet spirit, so I was able to clear off some of the enemy. Something that we haven't talked about, and we'll look at another time in another video, is when is it right to take wounds? When is it not, and when is it right to not heal? Because Charlotte, she did a great little thing where she killed off her Ushabti and was able to Isaac Mirage, was able to shoot, and was able to get rid of their opponent's Pegasus Knights. We will talk about that at another time. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you next week. Ta-ra!